How did he do it? Armand was an incredible friend, a remarkable teacher, and a #1 curmudgeon who could turn on his heels and be a true bon vivant and light up the room. He was so many things, but one thing was always there. He was a true raconteur, full of stories. Most of Armand's family died in the Holocaust. Armand did not. He told their stories. He survived with the help of so many. He told their stories. He wanted art to come alive, so he told the stories of artists. He had a long life well lived, and there was always a story to be told. My friend and former colleague Nancy Opalka, who can't be here with us today, added her thoughts to my notes. When Armand's audience was very young, it was his puppet Ishkibibble who told the story. Then he used photographs and slides for the older ones. Many times I crunched on a bench in his slide room to catch a bit of art history Armand style. He told his stories to generations of children. One day, on the parkway with our kids, Miriam and the twins were about 6 and Luke probably 9. We stopped in front of the Rodin Museum. The kids had discovered the gates of hell, or probably the gates of beep, as Armand said. They searched for their favorite gruesome details and shared them with each other. Mr. Mednick had told them about all kinds of historic details. Next to us was a couple conversing in German, enchanted and surprised how much these young American children knew about European art. What they didn't know is that I could understand and enjoy their remarks. It happened again and again when Armand students would go to an art museum. They know far more than they ever thought was something that they should know. Back in 1990, applying to the music teacher job at Oak Lane, I was vetted by Armand and Anita. It wasn't that hard. I was European. I spoke French. I played the recorder and knew who Orff was. So that winter break, having to write my first reports, I reached out to Armand. And he gave me his last reports to look over. Really? I knew he was an art historian, avid, but really art history for preschoolers? I cracked up when I saw which artists he was focusing on. Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael. He was educating the young ones in the early 90s as to who those Ninja Turtles really were. All of us who are parents of Armand's former students still have a million of clay pieces, showing beautifully the development of a young child's ability to recognize form and shape. Armand also loved Halloween. Every year he led the parade, wearing a mask, raising his staff, with his cape swirling. The kids just loved that. All these years, Armand and I shared a growing friendship, a shared love of our European upbringing, French songs, quiet meals where we would talk about life, the worry of a troubled son or daughter, our immigrants' perspective on America, and the news of the day. After every winter concert, a compliment from Anita and Armand meant so much to me, as we had a shared aesthetic and philosophy to put the child at the center and help them grow and shine. My biggest solace was that Claudia and I, unbeknownst, it was just hours from Armand taking his final French leave, we were the last activity. We went to sing him his favorite songs over at Carol's. I miss him, and though I know there will always be cheese and wine and songs, sharing them with him made it so much more special. With the melancholy that was always with him, There was an exuberance, a love of life, and being the center of attention, which he attributed to the Belgian nuns. The Belgian nuns, the women in the French sanatorium, all the female teachers at Oak Lane, and finally the women Francophiles who he'd meet once a month in his later years. Armand loved the ladies. He was lucky to have two blue-eyed loves in his life, both creative and vibrant. He was a lucky guy, and he knew it. We all really worried about Armand after Anita died. His health had declined in his care and worry for her, and the emotional toll of living in her absence was huge. Slow healing happened with the creation of the tile wall in her honor, and though leaving the lovely yet damp and moldy home of 50 fond years, Mount Airy gave him a new life. He taught a clay course for the blind people at Allen's Lane Art Center, where he met Carol. He taught a clay course for the blind people at Allen's Lane Art Center, where he met Carol. I remember the day he called me, his voice fully excited. "I think I have fallen in love again." And then he told me all about his amazing Carol. He was graced with true love twice. It gave him a new vitality and a raison d'être that he himself didn't believe he still had in him. In Mount Airy, he also walked into a group of women who were speaking French in a cafe. He joined their conversation and their group of monthly dinners. Soon, he was hosting them, tablecloths, Sancerre and all. We brought the food and had lively conversations en français. Once more, he was the center of his final group of women, and I was lucky to join them. Most of them can't be here today, but insisted on contributing to the lovely flowers. We knew the evening was coming to a close when Armand began to sing the Marseillaise. He'd sit up straight, make sure his beret was on just so, and with gusto took the lead. Allons enfants de la patrie, ready to start a revolution. He'd pound his fist on the table to make sure the neighbors couldn't miss it, crescendoed up into a fortissimo, aux armes citoyens, to rally the citizens. He would be singing this now, and I know he's with us in spirit. We will miss him, but like RBG, we will honor him with our dissent and revolution. Please turn to the last page of the program and give it your all. Allons enfants de la patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé. Contre nous de la tyrannie, l'entendant sanglant élevé, l'entendant sanglant élevé. Entendez-vous dans nos campagnes mugir les forces soldats. Ils viennent jusque dans nos bras, égorger nos fils et nos campagnes. Aux armes citoyens, formez vos bataillons, marchons, marchons, dans ce merveilleux arbre oscillant. Merci.